Okay, everybody, we are
Yeah.
we are live. We are
Yep,
live. We
that's
are
what I
live.
was
I think
saying.
we're live on all the
Yep, you are
platforms.
live on every platform right now. Bernie.
Nice. Well, isn't that wonderful? It is Whiskey Wednesday once again, folks, on this March 26th, 2025. I have to start out the show just by wishing my late father, the one who kind of stepped in these around the store, and reopened Chat's Liquors back in 1978. Happy birthday to my father. He would have been, 79. I think 79 this year on March 26, 2025. So with that said, we welcome everyone to this Whiskey Wednesday. I have the pleasure of being seated next to, this man here, once again, back from Montana, Mr. Matt Stinnett. And we're also being joined by a good friend of mine, longtime friend, industry guy. He has certainly been a part of building the portfolio of wines and spirits here at Chats for, a decade?
Yeah, close
maybe?
to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Thaddeus Braun is in the house. I'll let him introduce himself, and we'll get this show started. So please, Thaddeus, you bought this selection today. Just give us the background of not only the selection, but also your part.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
So as Bernie mentioned, we met when I was working for a distributor company here in D.C. About a decade ago. About 2 years ago, that distributor got engulfed by another, and I wasn't keen on working for that big guy, so I wanted to step out and do the supplier side, right?
Yeah.
And I started with one company, but then cuts happened because they happen. Then I got hooked up with these guys in June, and I've been nothing but happier, right? Like I believe that God works in certain ways, and this is a way that He brought me to, and it's really cool. Where my title is the Minister of Spirits for Mid Atlantic.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, Raj. So Raj Peter BHAKTA. It is right. So Raj Peter BHAKTA is a founder of BHAKTA in Hogsworth, but he was also the founder of WhistlePig.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Right?
No kidding.
So that was the reason that made me kind of perk my ears to kind of work with him, right? Because this is not just some tech guy who made a ton of money and it's like, I like bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy it and make it, right? It's somebody who's actually done this before, right?
That's cool.
And he's a pioneer. Like when I worked at the distribution company, I liked it because it was small, it was maneuverable. We actually launched WhistlePig in this market. We launched High West in this market before they were WhistlePig and High West. So I always like building brands. And this one kind of fit where I get the brand building aspect of something that's unique, cool, and different, but also something that's already proven, right? Maybe the juice itself yet, and the brand itself yet, it's not proven, but the person behind it is, right?
Gotcha.
And that kind of was very intriguing to me. And if you guys don't know the story of WhistlePig, back in 2010-ish, right, when Raj launched WhistlePig, he was kind of made fun of and mocked because there was no such thing as a premium rye category, right? Like it literally did not exist. And the people told me he's going to be a failure and he's a moron. Who's going to buy, a $90 bottle of 10-year Canadian whiskey, right? And what's rye? No one uses rye unless it's in a mash bill with bourbon.
Sure.
And he was like, no, that's the hole that I see in the whiskey game, and that's the hole I want to create. He got involved with a gentleman that any whiskey people probably know this name, Dave Pickerel.
Dave Pickerel,
right? I think it's one of the smartest moves he made. Where one of the things I love working with Raj is, Raj is a very smart man. He definitely knows what he's doing, but I think what makes him even smarter is the fact that he knows who to bring on and what role they should play. Right? He early on in the days of WhistlePig, before he even launched, he identified Dave as the person to be the brand ambassador. Right? And we look at years later, it was definitely a very smart decision because Dave hit the streets, Dave talked WhistlePig, and he kind of became the face of WhistlePig. And I actually asked Raj when I met him about 9 months ago, was that your design? He was like, yeah, like it was. I never really cared if people knew who I was, like as long as they knew what the brand was and what we were doing. And I knew Dave was the perfect guy for it, and Dave was, right.
Indeed.
So 2018, he sold his shares of WhistlePig, right, for various reasons. I think one of the reasons, I don't know this for sure, but one of the reasons I think he likes to innovate. He likes to do different, unique things. And I think the innovation aspect was kind of dying out at Whistlepick. Not the brand itself, but the innovation part was. Right? I mean, they have come out with some new SKUs since he left. They're good SKUs. There's nothing wrong with them. Right? But this is like true innovation at its finest. Right? So BHAKTA 1928 was launched in 2023. And it is a rye whiskey Calvados Armagnac blend. Right? So what he did was he saw, again, something missing in the market. What's missing in the market? Almost a lot of ryes, a lot of bourbons, they all taste very similar. Right? Because they're similar mash bills. They buy from the same people. And, I mean, you're a distiller. Rye tastes like rye. Right? Corn tastes like corn.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
okay, so more so corn tastes like corn.
But
right?
Yeah, I see what
barley malt. Malted barley tastes like malted barley. Right? Yes, there's soft red wheat. I mean, there's
I get.
There's things you can do.
A little technical.
There is Detling down in Alabama does chocolate malts, right? I mean, there is things you can do, but the 80%, if not 90% of the stuff on the shelves are very similar based.
Yeah.
It's the craft of the distiller that kind of makes it different, right? So what we kind of saw was, you know what? Why not introduce a complementary flavor profile and a complementary spirit? So he bought Chateau Riche du Bourgogne, which is one of the oldest, more prestigious Armagnac houses in the world. And when he purchased that, he came up with the concept of blending, right? So this first one, I'm going to go to this one here. I'm going to start pouring and talking now.
Yeah.
We got some water in our glasses real quick.
We can start.
Do a little swishy swish.
Yeah, everyone do a little water rinse. And then, start off with this first bottle.
Indeed. Let's add that as a banner.
So like I mentioned, our first whiskey blend we did was BHAKTA 1928, but I do like presenting this one first.
Okay.
Right? Yes, because of the price point, but also it's not as complex as the 1928.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha. All right, take your water too.
Okay. I surely will.
Take a stop.
I surely will.
There you go, fella.
Once I get this correct here. There we go. All right. Let's scroll down. We have the Hog's Worth. Okay, the first one up for the show, the Hog's Worth Bourbon Whiskey and Armagnac, 93.8 proof. And that is going to tell us all about it. Can't wait to take a nose and enjoy it. But first, happy Whiskey Wednesday, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mike.
Wow.
So what? Okay, so Hogsworth.
Yeah.
What are we drinking right now? Well, about to drink. What's in our glass?
So this is going on the concept of blending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we take complementary flavor profiles. It's not a blended whiskey in the sense where the category of single malts in America or anything that is like different in America that's not the standard rye mash bill, corn mash bill, the percentages at least, that'd be called an American whiskey, right? This is not an American whiskey. Technically, it's a DSS, which is a distilled specialty spirit, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully, TTB and all those other corporations don't require Bernie to make a DSS section, right? Because everyone's just going to overlook it, right? But it belongs in the bourbon section, and because it is a bourbon, right? Mm-hmm. So it's 60% bourbon, and it's two different contract distillers that we use, but they're not the norm contract distillers, right?
Sure.
So this is the tagline on this is it's the antidote for bourbon boredom, right? Raj looked at the price point, which is at the MSRP of $50, right? And he looks at it and he's like, you know what? There's some really good whiskeys, bourbon specifically, but they all are very similar, right?
Sure.
Where we could pull 20 whiskeys in that $50 price point, and Mike might like one more than me. I know that was a horrible alliteration. Bernie might like one more than me. You might like one, but we're all going to agree they all have a lot of similarities.
Sure.
Right? There's nothing like this because this is unique on itself. And that starts with the bourbon part that we have, which is 2 5-year-old bourbons, one from Panther out of Minnesota, and the other one out of Tennessee Distilling Company in Tennessee. Right? So 2 different unique contract distillers. And then we blend it with 3 different vintage Armagnacs. This one in particular has the 2011, 2013, and the 1982. So you're looking at up to 42-year-old Armagnac in this. That Armagnac by itself, if you wanted a bottle of it retail, $400 a bottle.
Sure.
Yeah. 100%. Right. This is 50 MSRP. So there's 5% of it in there. So that already is the cost. Right.
So really neat at 93.8 proof, well integrated flavors. The alcohol is not noticeable. Very dialed back. I think it lifts kind of a peach apricot like aromatics. Just a hint of kind of maybe fresh white raisin or something like that.
Raisin.
Yeah.
Really lively nose on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those dried fruits are coming from the Armagnac, right? The apricot, that rusticity. That's why I kind of like this. I mean, I made a joke with Bernie. I like the joke. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to say it live, right? This is the mullet. And I love that story that's on the bottle. The story that I tell is indicative on the palate, right? Where if a lot of people might not know what Armagnac is. And do you want me to geek out? Andy. So think cognac, but much higher quality for a lot of different reasons. One of the main reasons is when the two regions start coming into prominence. One was located on the Bordeaux River, cognac, and the other one is landlocked. So in the 1300s, when the Brits would come in and want to buy distillate, right, whether it be brandy for fortification or brandy just to drink, are they going to take that 50-mile trek and horse and wagon to Armagnac? No, they're not. They're going to go to the most accessible place, which is cognac. And fast forward to decades, centuries later, that's still kind of the focus of cognac. Cognac wants to make the best quality they can for the youngest that they can. Armagnac is still like, hey, we're just going to showcase what we are, right? So technically an Armagnac or even any great brandy, you shouldn't really drink it until it's at least 10 years old, right? It's not going to kill you if you do, but it's going to show better at 10. And they actually recommend between 14, it's a huge gap, 14 and 41 years. Right, at 14, it starts getting to its mature peak. At 28, they're like, this is where it's at. 41, it's still spectacular, right? Some of them get a little bit tired after 41, but not a lot of them, right? At least, definitely not ours, only because ours were made to last that long, right? And this is before we got involved. That's what I love with this, where you're picking up your traditional, corn, caramel, even a little bit of chocolate tones, vanilla, which are bourbon qualifiers, right? But then you get that beautiful fruit in the back end, that herbaceousness. And if any of you guys are getting like that leather tobacco, right?
I get on the palate. On the nose.
Not too much. Just muted on the nose. On the palate, you can definitely get on the finish, like that black licorice.
And it's not very tannic, though.
No.
Typically, I associate when I get that leathery tobacco characteristic, it normally finishes with a lot of tannins. But this one doesn't finish that way, so it's kind of a nice. And so that's what I like about this one so far, is kind of like everything you said, Daddy, is it's so reminiscent of a bourbon, but it's also different enough to where you can tell drinking it there's something different about it, but it's bourbon enough to where any bourbon drinker that would walk in here who enjoys multiple bourbons, as long as you're not one of those people who only drinks one and swears by only one. As long as you have an open mind, you would enjoy this product.
Well, unless that one's Hogsworth. Like,
I'm
okay with that.
Okay, sure. Well, I don't know.
No, I'm not. It's a joke. I don't, man. Right? Like, it's me, myself. Like, I work for BHAKTA. I love working for this company. However, I mean, I buy a bottle of whiskey at certain places. If I see a bottle, like I bought a bottle of single barrel Peerless at a place up in Hagerstown, because it's a single barrel Peerless. And they had a good price on it. So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna buy it. I bought Detling over at a place in Gambrills, right? Because I don't see Detling that often. When I get a chance to see Detling, I want to buy Detling, right? Because I'm a whiskey lover, right? Like, I love whiskey. I mean, yes, this brand is near dear to my heart. It's when Bernie know me for a while, where I'm not going to be. I don't just talk this up because I work for him and they sign my checks. I actually took a pay cut for this job. right? Like I was working at a certain company and wasn't too happy about what I had to sell. The passion wasn't there. The paycheck was nice. Like I liked the paycheck, but the passion wasn't there. And to me, it's like passion's more important to me than the actual paycheck at the end of the day, right?
All right.
And that actually segues into this one whenever you're ready.
Go. Well, we're going to take a little pause before we segue because I need to hear Matt's opinion and get a rating.
Oh, that's right. You got to the ratings. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your scale?
So it's 1 to 10.
Okay.
But you got to take into account. So how Bernie has set up the ratings for Whiskey Wednesday is a 10 means it is the best whiskey on planet Earth. There can only be 110 on Earth.
There is no.
So exactly. So
no, I hit 10.
So sometimes the numbers sound a little more
So 10 is the 96 Bulls.
Sure.
That's a 10, right?
So the numbers sometimes sound a little, and a 5 is just straight up an average whiskey. You drink it, but it's just completely average. So I think this is super fun. Kind of like I was saying, you get the raisinated characteristics, some apricot peach on the nose, has a nice little bit of caramel creaminess on the palate, some oak, tobacco, leather characteristics. I'd be sitting. I'm starting out. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Start out.
That's respectable.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think I'm gonna be at. I got it because you also gotta leave room. There's some heavy hitters on the table.
I agree.
Leave enough room. So, Bernie, you want to rate it next? Or we jumping in Mike?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and rate it. Just because we want to stick with a particular time frame, and my second camera is not doing me well. Yeah. So the one I was going to pan over to Mike isn't working, and so I'm right there with you, man. I had this slated at as well a 7.5. So we're right on target with that. Once again, this is a beautiful production. I think that with the Armagnac edition, it is certainly in its own sphere that warms up the whiskey quite nicely, gives it a lot of richness as well. The legs on it was fantastic. 7.5 is fair. There's so much nuance though. I could almost do a 7.75 as I kind of continue to enjoy it and allow things to open up, maybe play around with a little bit of water, but 7.5, which is quite above average. This is something that certainly you should go out and check out. We'll have it here soon at Chats. It will be available. I think the price point is going to be very attractive as well. Certainly check that out. I'm not going to necessarily toss the price point out to you yet, but well under $100 for something that has some.
I mean, MSRP
in it that
MSRP is 50, right? So I mean, it's like it's in that.
Like I say,
in that range, in that range, right?
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. I saw you do this. I'm like,
I'm right saying it anyway. Yep, absolutely.
I'm like a little kid.
Don't touch that. Exactly.
I want to check it.
So check out this whiskey, even at whiskey, not only here on Whiskey Wednesday and taking our ratings for granted, but come on this Friday, which is, what is this?
It's going to be the 29th.
29th.
Yeah.
28th.
No.
28th, right?
You're right.
From 5 to 8 here at Chats, we'll have this whiskey in-house and you can taste it for yourself. Good stuff, man. We're going to water rinse and we will move along. So, gosh, I like that.
Yeah. Super fun.
Bourbon, whiskey,
and come by
Armagnac
on Fridays. You never know. There will probably be special discounts for Friday only. You never know. If Bernie's feeling nice, there might be special pricing Friday only. Come by for the tasting.
Indeed.
You get to see Thaddeus again.
That's right. So, as we enjoy our water rinse, we're just going to go ahead and show the next production up. This is.
What is it going to be?
Let's see. No. Which one are we doing next? Do I have this?
1928.
The 1928, right?
We start pouring now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it. So
here it is.
What are we pouring up right now, Thaddeus?
So this is our flagship from BHAKTA, right? This is BHAKTA 1928. This is the product that made me say, you know what? I will take a pay cut for this job. Like, this is the product. Everything else is great, right? But this is the one that I feel the closest connection to, just because this is the one that made me be like, you know what, I want to sell this.
Called the closer.
Right, it is the closer. Right, this is it's one of the most complex whiskeys I've ever had. Period, especially considering the price point.
Mm-hmm.
Right, where I thought this was going to be much more than what it actually is.
Yeah.
Mike alluded to our first product that we ever came up with, and that is it's a higher price point, right? It was called BHAKTA 50. So if any of you watching this, you're like, oh, I've seen this before. You may have seen BHAKTA 50. So BHAKTA 50 was released in 2020, but we couldn't do. We bought a lot of whiskey, but we couldn't produce any whiskey until 2023 when the NDA with Whiskey was up, right? So this took 2.5 years to kind of conceptualize and figure out, right? And then that's what we use that time frame for. And so first one was called BHAKTA 50, and BHAKTA 50 is an Armagnac blend. So the oldest was 150 years old, and the youngest was 50 years old. And they had variations of vintage Armagnacs in between, and they were all finished in Islay casks, right? There were only 38 barrels made. That's it. A lot of them are sold out, right? Like you can't even get them. I think, and like in this area, I don't have any more to sell. Right, mm-hmm. So Bernie was like, "Hey, Thaddeus, I want one of those. You want?" I'm like, "I can't sell it to you. We might do a re-release of it, but it's going to be substantially more expensive, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's older and we've done a little bit more different things to it, and the availability of it is much limited. This one is the flagship that was released in 2023 in September of 2023, and it's a rye whiskey Calvados Armagnac blend. Right,
super neat, super neat. First time that I've seen, and we've all seen something like this, where you are blending these spirits.
Yeah.
And of course, you guys, the history of the ownership, your owner there, he's always kind of been a little cutting edge and doing things his own way and different. And so this one is certainly a unique product.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, when I first heard it, right, when he presented, he said, "This is our flagship, right? This is the one that you're going to be tested to sell." Mm-hmm. And I tasted it and I liked it, but I didn't quite know what to think about it at first, right? Because I've never had anything like it before.
Yeah.
And then, Spirits Brain is saying, "Why would you finish a rye in Calvados and Armagnac barrels? That makes no sense." And then,
because it'll turn out like this.
Thaddeus being Thaddeus. Well, it's not finished, right? So Thaddeus being Thaddeus, I verbalized that, and Raj corrected me. He's like, it's not finished in. It's actually a blend of, right?
Right.
So this is 60% 6-year-old 2018 rye, right? Coming from MGP, and even that mash bill is very unique to MGP. Matt and I were talking earlier about the uniqueness of the mash bill variations that MGP has. If anyone knows MGP, they're out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana. They make some of the best whiskeys, period, right? And one of the things that they're best known for is our 95.5 rye, right? Yeah. This is not that. This is 51 rye, 44 bourbon, and then the variation, I'm not doing math in my head, I think 4%, right? There you go, barley malt. The reason why we did that is because we wanted it to be a marriage of the Calvados, which is an apple brandy, right? The ones we use is between 10 and 31 years old. Right, it's XO Calvados, and that's 30% of this composition, and it brings that beautiful apple sweetness that you're getting off the nose. Like you get that 100%. I kind of see that as the vehicle, the driver of this car, right? With the rye has that nice spiciness, but it's like apple pie, right? Like where it's just beautiful. And then the Armagnac is 10%. And there's 5 different vintage Armagnacs. The coolest thing about this is the oldest Armagnac in here is nearly 100 years old. It is from 1928. Right, I have tasted this blend without the 1928, and it's just it's a smaller percentage, but it's completely different. Right, like it brings the balance of that sweetness down a little bit from the Calvados because it brings a lot of rancio and a lot of earth. I don't know if you ever taste like older Armagnac. A lot of them have that huge earth tones and that leather tobacco. It's called rancio.
Yeah,
right, and that 1928 carries a lot of that, and that kind of brings this whole ship together. And outside of that, the Armagnac's more bringing that viscosity and that richness, which is what I really love about this. And it's 100 proof. Doesn't taste 100 proof, which is dangerous, right? But it's 100 proof.
Absolutely. Very refined. Once again, kind of like the bourbon, probably even deeper warmth for this one.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, the apple tone, certainly from the Calvados, you get the apple brandy, that Calvados flavor note. You really get on the palate, especially first sip for me. The Armagnac, I think aromatically is so warm. The spices of the rye still show up quite nicely.
Some caramel covered apple. Like you get the beer on a stick.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at on the palate. On the nose, it's like just the sweet, fresh. You're just cutting an apple on a cutting board at home and eating a couple slices of snack in the afternoon. But then on the palate, you get this kind of rich caramel characteristic coming through.
And that spice undertone.
Yeah, you got a little.
That's what I love about
like
it, right?
Rye
Like
spice, and it leans into a little baking spice where I can go apple pie too, kind of with it.
I mean, this is a rye where a lot of people that say they don't like rye, they don't like it because it's aggressive and punchy, and that's why I like rye, right? Yeah. And I like this, right? It has enough of that punchiness that I'm satiated and I enjoy it thoroughly, but it's an undertone. So if you're more of that bourbon fan where you like that sweet richness, then you'll still like this because the spice is more or less muted.
Sure.
Right? But still very present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned Rancio characteristics. I'm also really seeing how the French oak, the Louvain cask, that type of cask pairs and blends with an American rye whiskey.
It does.
There's this very much structured profile, especially in the finish. It's light tannins, this drying profile at the finish that's really neat. That reminds me more so of French brandy, Armagnac, Calvados, maybe even some cognacs or what have you. Definitely. So that's the complexity. It's really nice. It restrains some of the kind of bigger American-like flavors, right? And creates a balance there that's really neat. Yeah.
To me, I think there's an elegance, depth, and again, complexity. I've never had anything this complex that's under $100, right? Like the first thing so Raj asked me what I thought of this and price point wise. And again, I've been in the game for a while, restaurants to distribution to the supplier side, and I think I have a very educated guess on what something should or should not be price wise, right? And my guess was between 100 and 120. Hearing what's in it, seeing the bottle, tasting it. And at that time, I told him, I was like, Raj, like I love this. I want to work for you, but if this is your flagship, it's worth 100, but 100's tough, man. I mean, that's just hard to have someone to go out and sell. Then he told me the MSRP, which I'm not going to say here. I learned my lesson, right?
There you go.
But it's under 100, right? And that's where I was like, man, I'm in, right? Like at that price point, I'm all the way in.
All right, great. Well, I'm going to start it off myself. I think this is a super interesting product. I guess we could call it a rye whiskey because that's, I think, where the association is. It's American production as well, but with the addition of Armagnac and Calvados, this really does put it into a unique sphere. I like it quite a bit. I think there's some refinement there that's neat. Gosh, you have some old product in there. It reminds you of the old world. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Yep. Jumping the gun. Absolutely. But I'm gonna go 7.75 on this one. Once again, these are unique products. There's some refinement there. It's one of those things where if you're a purist of a bourbon drinker or a purist rye drinker, this does kind of bring you outside those boundaries and those restraints a bit. And so, you kind of have to warm up to it and kind of figure out, okay, well, it's neat. Is it, kind of where can you kind of place it, within your expectation? It's two different products merging, or three in this case, kind of combining as one. And so because of that, it's super, super unique. I may be a quarter point beneath just because I'm still trying to figure it out, folks. Still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So,
welcome to DC, guys.
Yep. All good. All good. So Bernie's hinting that we're going to keep on rolling.
So we're at 7.75 for me.
7.75 for Bernie. I love where he's at. I was hoping we were going to be on the same page 2 times in a row, but we're going to miss the mark. Bernie's just a little wrong this time. I'm going to hit at an 8.0 on this one. I do It is a unique product. I think this is a product you got to go into with an open mind. Someone who enjoys spirits in general more than just outside of bourbons, rye, scotches, or things like that. Or just try it blindly. Don't know exactly what's in it. If you pour it up for a whiskey drinker, they'll enjoy it. But I think when you hear what's in it, some people are going to get a little hesitant, but I love it. I'm a fan. I respect spirits. I enjoy spirits all the way around. And I think it's an extremely elegant and well done product. So I'm an 8.0.
Indeed, folks. Well, that's it right there. 8.0 from Matt, 7.75 for me on this Whiskey Wednesday with the BHAKTA 1928 straight rye whiskey, Calvados and Armagnac blend. We are right at 100 proof for this guy, as you see there. And yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I love how both of you guys hit that tone where I agree with you 100%, where if you're coming into it and you're expecting that punchy big rye, it's not that you're not going to like it. It's just your brain's not going to connect your palate, right? Because it's not that, right? When I'm doing in-store tastings on Friday here, 5 to 8, right? I kind of try to do that with that and tell people their expectation, right? Like this is one of the most unique things you'll ever have, right?
So I'm gonna pour it up. You want to go ahead and tell us what this next one is gonna be?
What is this?
Time a little bit faster.
Yeah,
heard. 2014 bourbon, right? So we are an Armagnac house with a whiskey focus, right? So we have, and of course, I forgot to bring an Armagnac, right? Silly Thaddeus. I did bring all rum, but I forgot to bring an Armagnac. But we are Armagnac house. We have Armagnacs single vintage dating back to 1868, right? Up until 2014, which is that 10-year delineation mark that we talked about. 1973 Armagnac is the only one we have available in this market at this moment. But again, we have everything available that we can. And this is the 10-year-old bourbon that we have. Why do we call it a 2014? Is because this is a limited release where we only made 1,000 cases. And we are out. We don't have any more. Bernie got one of the last cases left here in DC, right? And he can't reorder it, right? And you as a consumer, if you see something like this, I would get it sooner rather than later, because it's not going to be, once it's gone, right? But we will be coming out with another bourbon, but it's going to be a 2011 bourbon, 15-year-old bourbon. I don't know the mash bill yet. They haven't even told us that yet. I don't know the finish aspect on it yet. But the reason why we don't put the age statement on there is because we want to do something different every single time we release something, right? We're going to get to this one afterwards, and you'll see that even more proof, right? Where this isn't the next version of this won't be released until 2027. Right. So there's always, we're always going to be different and pivot in different ways. This one here is a 10-year bourbon from MGP, and we took a 99.1 mash bill. So mash bill that they don't really advertise too much. And there's a reason for it. One of the reasons why I love work for this company is everything we do, there's a reason for it. Everything makes sense. We don't just do it because we want money off it. Raj already made a ton of money, right? this is passion, right? This is all for the passion aspect of things. That's where we're always doing something different, right? So why did we choose the 99.1 mash bill? If you guys are familiar with 99.1, 99 corn, 1% barley malt, it's a very simple mash bill. 10 years and plus, it's great mash bill, but it is vanilla, it is caramel, it is butterscotch, right? Like that's what it is. That's all it is. We're about to taste this here. You get that plus so much more elegance, so much more depth. And that comes from our barrel finishing, right? So other guys are like, oh, I know barrel finishes. Ours are different, and it's a step above everyone else's for one main reason. We own the barrels, right? Yeah. So most other people, 90% plus, probably have to buy the barrel for somebody else. So think about it. How long is it going to take them to get that barrel? A week, 3 days, a month? So by the time they get it, it is damp at best, dry at most. So you're going to get the essence of whatever's in that barrel. You're not going to get what we get. So ours are wet finishes, where it's a 20-second transfer. So we literally dump and bottle the 73 Armagnac, right? And we put in the bourbon, right? So this is finished for 125 days, not your regular 30 days, 125 days. Why 125, you ask? Great question, Mac.
Yeah.
Because that's when it was ready. Right?
Who could have guessed?
It wasn't ready at 75. Right. It wasn't ready at 100. It was ready at 125.
Not at 124.
Right? Not 124. Not 126. At 125. and it's rested in 50-year-old 1973 Armagnac barrels. No one's doing that either because they can't afford to.
Yeah.
We can because we own the barrels, right?
Yep.
And with that 5 to 10% that's in there, you actually get the chemical reaction and you actually get the intermingling of the juice. So this isn't the essence of the barrel. The barrel actually affects what you're tasting. Mm-hmm. So that's why you get dried fruits. That's why you get rancio. That's why you get earth tones out of this. That is not indicative of the 99.1 mash bill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you get it in this.
Proof point real quick on this.
What do you think?
Well, I'm looking at a screen.
So you see
I'm
it.
assuming it's right. I wouldn't guess it, but I want to clarify. I don't know if these are always at that proof or if it's batches vary. Or...
So we everything we do, we don't dilute with water.
Yeah.
Right? But we're using Calvados in this, which is lower ABV.
Sure.
Right. We're using Armagnac in this
with the product,
right?
Into it.
And then the proof on this actual juice in here is starts off at 121, right? The bourbon itself.
Right.
But by the time we put it in the finish, and that just shows you how much juice is still in that barrel that we do. Right, that is at I think it's 45% for the Armagnac that's in there, so it brings it down to 105.
Yeah, I would definitely say this drinks as a 90 proof product.
Yeah,
for educational purposes, make sure it's at the 105.
A lot of our products do, right? Like we're gonna get to our last one, and I kind of want Bernie not to put the proof on there until we talk about it, just because it's just amazing, right? Where Bernie already cheated, he already knows what the proof on that one is, but that one doesn't taste like the proof at all.
Not at all.
Which again, I am a proof head, man, right? Like I rarely drink anything that's under 90 proof, right? My wheelhouse is that 105 to 115, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the sweet corn really does display itself quite nicely, and just brings you into this whiskey with a good energy, right?
Tasty.
Probably the most complex form I've ever seen of a 99% corn mash bill
for
product.
Sure. For sure.
You know, that is, you don't expect to see, the reason you don't see that mash bill much is because you don't typically gain much complexity out of it.
Right.
And so it leans into giving you if you have the skill, the knowledge, and the talent, and the accessibility to give it a finish like this, you can really capitalize on that, do some super fun, interesting things that you're not seeing on the market. And I think this is exactly that.
Indeed. And it's the Armagnac, the complexity of the Armagnac and the very old Armagnac cask that really brings so much more to this 99-1, corn to malted barley ratio mash bill. So super neat in that, some of the spices, some of the smokiness of the Armagnac, some of the complexity of almost reduced characteristics, of course, but some of the savory note of that Armagnac really does come through nicely.
Beautiful viscosity.
Yeah.
From that, again, probably from that Armagnac mostly.
Yeah.
But also if you are talking a 10-year-old aged whiskey,
it's
it probably has
anyways.
Some decent viscosity, but that Armagnac definitely adds another layer of kind of oiliness that coats your palate.
Yeah, we're talking about non-chill filtration as well.
Yeah,
so that
obviously
certainly does keep the character and quality up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. There's a freshness factor as well. Once again, kind of the sweet note of the corn, maybe the simplicity of the mash bill is just super attractive.
Yeah.
And it's like delivering a 105. It's, you second guess that for sure.
Got a little bit of red, like berry, almost like some raspberry off it, maybe a little strawberry in there.
And that's coming from the Armagnac.
100%.
So Bernie actually had the opportunity, because I didn't forget it when I tasted with Bernie. I had the 73 Armagnac with me, and we tasted it right after we tasted this. And you could actually taste the elements of that 73 Armagnac in solely by itself in this, right? It's like the proof is kind of in the pudding on it.
100%.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I don't know. This one does it for me, folks.
Does it for
this
you?
One does it for me. I like this one. I'm going 8.25 on this one.
8.25.
Goodness gracious. I might even go 8. That's a unique mash bill. I'm going 8.5 on this one. I really like this.
I was hoping we were going to get again. I'm at 8.25.
You're at 8.25. Okay. I'm a little higher than you on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, gosh, super tasty stuff, folks. Super, super tasty. The ability for this Armagnac cask to add so much more depth to this 99% corn, 1% malted barley mash bill for the BHAKTA 2014 Armagnac cask finish bourbon whiskey. Oh gosh, delivering a 105.4 proof point. Matt gives it 8.25. I give it an 8.5. It's delicious. Let me flash it up there on the screen really quickly for you folks. That's it right there. It's 2014. We have got notification that Chats has the last 6 bottles available in Washington, D.C., correct?
It's not the
Coming
last
in.
6, but we were one of the last ones to order it. It's sprinkled throughout, kind of, but
We're
not
going to
really.
stick with what I said.
We're gonna
I mean, I agree,
Say,
right?
I don't care
So,
what that man said.
I'm with you.
We got the rest of it.
In this area, in the 3-mile radius, yeah, this is it.
So, yep.
No one else has it.
Absolutely. Come taste it on Friday, March 28th from 5 to 8. Folks, that's our rating. Come on. We're water rinsing.
Water rinsing and moving on.
Make sure you stay hydrated, folks. Indeed. What are we moving on to?
So this is my
Yeah, go ahead,
this is my
Yes.
personal favorite product that we make, but I'm in the minority when it comes to flavor profile, right? So this is like Lagavulin 16 and Oban 14 had a baby.
Yeah, okay.
Right. That's I got the tropical fruit notes. So like to me, when I first tasted this, I'm like, oh my goodness, I've never had a single malt outside of Campbelltown or Isla that is reminiscent to Campbelltown or Isla, right? Like I've had some American single malts, they're good. I've had some Indian single malts, they're fine, right? I've had some Japanese ones, they're Highland style and they're good, but none of them remind me of Scotch, right? Until I had this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been chasing this profile for so long, where it's this beautiful tropical fruit notes with the charcoal smoke that you expect from a peated whiskey, with that beautiful iodine back end, right? So this is from a very small distillery called Ocean King, right? This is only 1,000 cases were produced. This is a 2012 vintage, but it's 10 years, 4 months. Tastes like it's 15 because it is aged and rested in Goa. Goa is in India, and it's super hot there, right? So you're getting 2 things from the hot climate. One thing, which is a positive, it ages rapidly, or at least faster than what it usually would in a colder climate.
Yeah.
The bad thing you're getting is you're getting a ton of angel share. So that means you're actually losing your juice in the barrel, right? So your money is literally floating in the air, right, as you're doing it.
Yeah.
So we found these guys. They only sell in a little bit in UK and mainly in India. And the only thing they sell in those regions are their non-age statement 3 to 5 year blend.
Okay.
They have because we bought it all. They had a plethora of 10-year plus barrels, but they never bottled for one main reason. It's the reason that I mentioned. It was they were afraid with the variation of the each release that they would lose their customer base because it's 10 years. And they just didn't want to risk it, right? So they were waiting and hoping for someone like Raj to come along, and Raj came along. So we had appointments with 2 other distilleries, 2 big names, Amaroot and John Paul, and they just kind of didn't hit what we were looking for, whether it be too expensive, the quantity, maybe even the consistency, right? Because one thing I do like about John Paul a lot is they're very consistent. We don't want that consistency, right? We want our 2013 is going to be released in that 2026 to 2027 realm. We want it to be completely different in its release.
Gotcha.
Right. One of the reasons why I love this is because they actually buy the peat moss, right? They don't smoke the grains, right?
Yeah.
They don't do the cheating aspect of it. They actually buy the peat moss, and that's why you get that iodine medicinal characteristic with the smoke and charcoal. It's 131 rested in 2 separate Armagnac barrels for 131 days.
Okay.
Right? Same thing, flavor profile. It was first rested in a 1976 barrel, which is very rancio.
Yeah.
And it was too much. So then we rested it for an additional amount of time in the 82 barrel Armagnac, which is very fruity. And we want to kind of take away that super earthy characteristic because the juice itself was already earthy. Right? And that's why we did it for 2 separate barrels for 131 days.
Wow. I mean, yeah, right off the bat, you're hit with the immediate smoky characteristic, but once you work through that, you get to this, or at least me personally, get into a little toasted marshmallow.
My guy.
Characteristic. Yeah. You know, right off the bat, you kind of take a sniff or 2, let it breathe a second, come back to it, and yeah, you're getting a little sweetness, a little creaminess also. obviously getting some nice. I mean, again, this one I lean back to a little tobacco, also similarly like we were starting out with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely some tobacco note.
I love it because
The
it's
smoke is there,
but
and,
it's not overwhelming.
It's not overwhelming, but certainly it does play as a beautiful accent of flavor. So don't think that it's going to be overwhelming, like a
Lafroy
or something, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I like how we were.
Jinxies.
I will say I think the smoke is more prevalent on the nose than the palate. You haven't taken a sip yet, so maybe you can confirm. But I think that's nice. But also at the same time, you might be a little scared at first going off the nose. But once you actually go take a sip, it's not as overwhelming as you might expect it to be or anything like that. It really is well balanced on the palate. The smoke plays nicely in it, but not overpowering in any way, which I think a lot of people have that issue with some peated scotches.
Yes.
Such as maybe a Lafroy.
I don't. I love Lafroy.
Yeah.
I love
Exactly.
Talisker.
I'm not saying everyone, but I think it's common.
I'm like 5% of whiskey drinkers.
So yeah, but definitely
So this is if you have tasted, if you don't like that Lafroy Talisker style, but you've had this like an Oban or a Springbank, and you're like, you know what, I could drink those. That's what this is more of. It's more that Campbelltown profile than.
I was going to say, if you're a fan of the Lagavulin Offerman series,
There you go.
This is what you look
In
for.
your wheelhouse.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, Mike.
That is top. And I recently, being bourbon first, got really into Islay Scotches. Really love Lagavulin and Ardbeg with their really interesting.
Welcome to the
releases.
team, sir.
Yes, this is if you're beginning that transition, this is the bottle. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. That was faceless, Mike.
Yeah,
Right.
Faceless Mike.
Yeah.
So Rob,
absolutely.
So Raj teased me. We were supposed to release a Campbelltown 15 year this year, but we're holding it off until next year.
And it's going to get so much more expensive.
So this is
so already a 15-year Campbell.
So it's already purchased, and we're going to try to keep it in the same price point that these are in.
Sure, but
right because Raj bought enough of it.
He thinks
Whiskeys
said
right.
Yeah. Well, so we already purchased it. So we haven't bought
competitive with the Campbellton.
Probably right. It probably is. It probably could be in that Springbank 15 there. It probably is. Right.
Sure. Yep.
But I love that I work for a company where the actual owner calls me. Right, and he called me up so I was told January we're going to do it. No, December. Then in January I found out we're not going to do it this year, and then I get my next phone call before I complain about it. Raj calls me up because hey man, we're going to do it next year. So I got you. I'll make sure you get a bottle for yourself. I'm like, thank you so much, because I was looking forward to something. Like Campbelltown is probably my favorite region for Scotch.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm sure ours is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it's one thing I've learned about this company. I mean, it's everything we make is just high quality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got some notes you want to give about the palate? Yeah, give me a second. You're still he's wrapping up, but let him.
As Matt mentioned before, the smokiness doesn't come across as intensely. Doesn't come across as intensely as the nose does, and it's well integrated. So let me get some more glasses. A couple more glasses. Savory, smoky, almost undertone of chocolate, salted.
Yeah,
a little bit of
got a good palate.
A little bit of kind of salted meat, a little cured like note. Mike, tell him just right there. A little cured like note. Excellent balance, a depth of flavor that is beautiful, delivering 113.8 in such a beautiful way. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. I'm going 8.75.
Oh, look at Bernie. Yeah, my guy.
Yeah, I'm going 8. I'm
I
going
agree.
8.75.
It's not as me
right here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. From the start.
Oh, from the start.
Whichever.
Okay.
Whichever.
Good.
Yeah. You can.
Tell me. Okay. I love it. I think this is super fun bottle. I hate say I'm being an 8.5, but I'd stretch it to an 8.75. But I'm being 8.5. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. I love it. Definitely would love to have a bottle sitting on my bar at home.
Indeed.
And so, yeah, I think it's a great bottle. Definitely kill it. 8.5, but I'd stretch it to an 8.75 maybe if I have another glass for the night. So,
yeah, just super interesting stuff. I've never had an Armagnac finished single malt until right now, right? It's rare to see any type of French brandy finishing on a single malt. I'm going back in my Rolodex of
I've never had one.
And I don't
port, sherry,
cognac,
right? Rum,
right? Exactly, a Rolodex, old school. Cognac finish single malt. I don't know. I don't think so. So it's totally unique, totally delicious in my opinion, and that was the BHAKTA 2012 Armagnac cask finish Indian single malt whiskey, 113.8 proof. Matt gave it an 8.5. I've given it an 8.75, folks. Super limited and super delicious.
If we can knock out the last whiskey or last product in 8 minutes.
Indeed.
8 minutes.
What's the name of this one?
So this is BHAKTA 1990 rum, right?
All right.
So the cool story behind this one is...
Oh, it was Whiskey Wednesday.
I'm with you, right? So the reason why I showcase this one is because this is the first product that we ever did under the BHAKTA label, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go backwards to 2018, right? And in 2018, that's when Raj sold Whistle Pig, and he was looking for what his next venture is going to be. So I got you. So he goes to his buddies in Alberta Distilling Company, right? Which is where he purchased his 10-year Whistle Pig, back in 2010. So 2010, so they have a great relationship, right? So he just goes there just to talk to them and to see how they are. But if you ever met Raj, and I'm definitely going to make sure that you meet Raj at one point, Bernie, because he's an awesome dude, right? He has zero boundaries. So he just walks through the distillery, and he just sees these two barrels tucked away, right? And one is a 1990 pot still Appleton Estate Jamaican rum.
Appleton,
yep.
Okay.
And the other one's a 1985 Clarendon Money Musk, which is essentially plantation, or we know now as Plantaray, right? Calm still. So he grabs a whiskey thief and he tastes both barrels. Like, I think these are delicious. So he purchased both barrels. So this is 1,000 bottles made, right? We are sold out. We don't have any more, right? We have enough in our distribution, but as far as being reordered by distributors, it doesn't exist because we don't have it anymore. It is non-Solera aged, right? So this is 26 years old in wood.
No,
so this is
26 years old, non-Solera.
Right, non-Solera age, right? Wow. And for you guys don't know what that means. So Solera age means that they could put 25-year-old on the label as long as there's like 10% of it in there, right? A lot of it's made up of like 10, 15. This is no joke, 26 years old in wood.
You'd always just keep a little of that original old stuff and just kind of
add on to it, right?
But you just keep a little bit left. Yeah.
This is not that. So this was married together in 2018. They were put in barrels for 3 months. They were put into new bourbon barrels. Used bourbon barrels. Sent down to Tennessee during the winter, right? Or during the summer. During the summer, so it could kind of escalate the aging process. Then we shipped it up for 3 months and rested it in 1982 Armagnac barrels for 3 months. And that was in the winter time, kind of slow the aging process aspect and kind of allow it to talk to itself. I am not a rum fan, but this is the best rum I've ever had because this is a very whiskey profile,
bias,
right? I used to sell some great rums, right? I used to sell Foursquare, right? I love Foursquare. Yeah, it's great. It's a very good rum, right?
Pretty good.
I sell Plantaray. Plantaray is killer rum, right? I've had some really good rums. I just would never buy a bottle for myself. This is one of the exceptions where I'm like, wow. And the cool little story on this one is I told Ross that during interview weekend. He pulled this down, and I'm like, yeah, dude, like this is legit.
Gosh, sweet molasses, brown sugar, cacao, a little bit of cane-like funk.
Jamaican style.
It's Jamaican, but it's not Jamaican youthful funky. No. It's like the funk has blown off, but you still have some of the some kind of the the
richness.
the good rich, you know, back to the purity funk.
In a respectful way, I do want to compare this to Foursquare. Foursquare being the first rum as a whiskey drinker that I like to sip.
Same.
I liked rum, but as far as sipping, Foursquare is what got me. I put this in that same category of a product that I don't want to put this in a cocktail. I don't want to taste it in a cocktail. I like it just like this. Instead, maybe have a couple glasses of whiskey prior to and with my meal, but then after the meal, finish off with this. You get the barrel characteristics like you expect out of a whiskey, but the dark, deep, rich sweetness that you expect out of a rum. And I think it's a beautiful marriage.
An array of spices as well. Gosh, this is like
super complex.
Botanical forward.
Oh, I like that. Instead,
botanicals, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like there's a little bit of the juniper there. And, you know, we're drinking a gin here.
Right? I was going to mention, it's like, if I taste this blindly, I was thinking I would be drinking like it's really interesting. Like you get a little bit of like a bitterness, so much like Campari, some pineapple, some sweetness. It drinks so well. Like it is.
Yeah, for 124 proof.
The aromatics
doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
And the aromatics is fantastic. Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I haven't tasted it yet, but once again, the ABV is hidden. There is no ABV showing in a harsh way at all. It's just lifting those flavors, some of those tropical notes, as Mike mentioned, the pineapple, the little hint of banana, just a hint of kind of something more tropical, like a little papaya or something, stone fruit.
Bernie's got a good.
Let's give it
it's an incredible palate because you got a wine palate, right? Same here. Like I have a wine palate. You pick up these things. Rating it.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow. So voluptuous. So beautifully framed for the depth of flavor that it has. It stays on your mid palate. Doesn't deviate. That's the structure of the oak, the aging process. I was anticipating either something a little bit sweeter in its taste or some variant of extraction that really kind of created an overabundance of flavor, but it's so perfectly framed, so beautifully well done, so beautifully delivered, flavor-wise. It's rum, but there's something that is kind of in an aged spirit realm that separates itself from kind of what many people will just associate as simple rum.
For sure.
And so hence the mention of Foursquare. Oh my gosh, I gotta give this. This is one of the best rums that I've had for sure. I'm probably going. Am I jumping the gun here, Matt? Is it your turn? No. Is it your turn to go first?
Yours.
Okay,
yours.
Cool.
Give it, you guys.
I'm giving it a 9.
Give it a 9.
I'm going 9.
Oh, go.
I'm going 9. What about you, Matt? Let's go.
I'll match it. I'll give it a 9 too.
Woo,
I'll give it a 9 too.
What is this the first rum that has received the 9 points out of 10? It's almost perfection.
9.0. Oh, I hate you get there, Brad. Good look.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So,
well, that is
we got a comment
the rating for the 1990 Armagnac cask finished Jamaican rum. It is 124 proof points. Matt gives it a 9. I give it a 9. It's beautiful.
Mine are so bad.
Oh, what were you going to say, Matt? Let's show that off.
Shout out to Whiskier saying that rum is hands down insane 9.5 from Whiskier
Drew Beard himself.
I agree with him.
Mr. Drew Beard. Shout out Whiskier. Shout out Drink Hacker. 9.5.
Indeed.
From the man himself.
Well, in a couple moments, those of you joining us on Instagram, we will lose you, unfortunately, but we'll keep kind of the conversation going on YouTube. So transfer on over to YouTube. Check us out at youtube.com/@chatslickers. That's CHATSLIQUORS. And continue to have fun with us. We'll be going for another maybe 15 minutes.
So about to say, we're going to talk more about the stuff. Just want to give you final ratings before it cut out on us.
Indeed. Wow, that's delicious. Hey, Thaddeus,
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
killer.
I bought
The
the same
thunder,
thing.
brother.
Killer. I
Pulse.
appreciate it. Oh, no, resume.
Absolutely. That's so good. That's so good. So I mean, the work is done. The enjoyment just starts and continues now.
Yeah.
Let me see. We have my buddy Brent in the house. Come on, dude. I am fan freaking tastic.
Wait, one second. Clip that on a jacket or hold it or something between two of y'all.
There you go. For a certain.
So we got Brent in the house and Brent, your friend.
Cash.
My friend Cash.
Cash.
My friend.
Hey, Cash,
What's up,
what's up?
fellas?
Pleasure having you
on?
at Chats. Come on, it's a beautiful, beautiful moment right now. I hope you're enjoying the BHAKTA.
Well, we're a little late to the party. We
It's
just
okay.
getting started, but I have to say, it's a good intro so far.
It's
Good
been a good
intro.
intro thus far.
Cash looks like he's ready for the next drink.
Yeah.
Cash is always
I'm ready when you are, man.
Hey, Cash, we're waiting on you.
So you have the bourbon Armagnac blend first, and then the rye whiskey Calvados Armagnac blend second. What do you think?
So,
Right.
I'm going to steal his word. Butterscotch notes were
Yeah.
delicious.
On the first or second?
On the second.
Second,
On
yeah,
the
yeah,
second, Good stuff.
So this is our 10-year-old bourbon, rested in Armagnac
So
barrels.
Brent and Cash are catching up with us. They've gone through the Hawksworth and the 1928. Now they're on 2014, correct?
We got to come back behind you guys and keep you honest.
I know. We call them the cleanup crew.
Do you want to taste something that? So I had this little thing here, right?
Yeah. Hey, I will
So I'm feeling like.
pre-pause. I'll taste anything
Right.
in front of me.
So I'm feeling like. So this isn't even available. Bernie, unfortunately, Bernie can't even order if he wanted to. This
Sucks
is
to be
already sold out. But we're tasting all this, right? And all I'm thinking about is I really want to taste our 2013 rye. So this is available in our gift packs,
Look at that. Shout
Right?
out the gift packs.
which is different than most gift packs, which is awesome. Where most gift packs, no knock on them, but they are the core 4 products, right? That's usually what they are. This is not core 4 products. You got 2 products in here. We taste that rum, right? Limited release. We have the 50-year-old Armagnac. We have the 2013 11-year-old rye, and then we have our previously released 10-year-old bourbon. It's the 2013 version of the 2014, right?
Yeah.
And it's sold out. And so it's this one here we're about to pop is also sold out. I'm just tasting all this killer juice. I'm like, you know what?
I mean, come on.
I really want this profile right now, man.
And what better place to do it than a Chat's Liquor?
Agreed.
Here. So again, just to reiterate, everyone, some of these products, not all of them, but a BHAKTA lineup we will be tasting here at Chat's Liquors. That's 503 8th Street, Southeast, Washington, D.C., 20003. Come by this Friday. It's going to be March 28th. Come by from 5 to 8 o'clock. Hang out with Thaddeus, me, Bernie, and try some of these products. Every single one.
So I'll bring them all.
Okay.
Right.
Hey.
Right. And if you mention this, you get to taste that rum. If you don't mention this, you don't get to taste that rum.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you mention it, you get to taste it.
It's not going to be on the table.
It's not.
None of
Give me
the
the bag.
table.
Give me in the
If
bag.
you know, you know. If you've seen the video, you stayed this long,
You get a
stayed to the
taste.
end. Come by Friday, 5 to 8. Tell that you watch the video, you want to taste that rum.
Which is the highest rated rum that he ever had?
Yeah, in your cup. No,
Yeah, it's rum.
I ain't doing that.
I'm using my
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you good.
So this is our 11-year-old rye. Yeah. So it doesn't exist. You can find it in a few places, mainly in Maryland, right? Retailers,
Sure.
right?
So
And
let me just
the
say
gift
that,
packs.
folks, these items that we're going to be tasting right now may not be available in the marketplace
Right.
outside of these little packs here.
Yes, agreed.
You mentioned that?
Yes,
So sorry.
I did.
Okay.
But you're
So
good.
Please, just don't
Mention
come,
it again.
Just
I agree.
please
Hey,
don't come.
I want that rum you guys have, or that rye that you guys have. Like, nah, that one's only available.
Well,
to-
in this
Pure
day-
education and enjoyment.
in this
Mike.
day and age of the internet, there's obviously secondary. But
Yeah.
I'm sure, like the
Not that we support.
reserve bars of the world, and what I'm trying to think of the other online retailer, but I'm sure if people wanted to find it, they could.
So retail wise, if you really want to go search for this one, it is in places. I'm not gonna say the places, but it's in places in Maryland,
Good choice.
right?
The Evil Empire.
It's not available in DC at all. No one really. People did pick it up. It's not. They don't have it anymore, right? But you can get it. Like Bernie's actually the only one I'm offering this to. This is one that I'm only selling mainly in Maryland. But Bernie's my guy. If Bernie wants one, he could have it, right? Like, I'm not going to say no to Bernie. I tell you the truth, if Bernie really says, I mean,
Say no to Bernie.
look, if I'm not going to, right? So if Bernie actually tells me he wants this, I'll figure it out and get it for him too, right? Bernie's my guy.
There we go. Ain't no mountain high enough.
But this is an 11-year-old MGP, and it is a 95.5 mash bill, right? Because we had to. Like, if you're getting 10-year plus from MGP and it's rye, you got to do that 95.5. It's rested for 75 days and 1989 Calvados barrels.
Yeah. And I think anyone in the market is well aware 95.5 rye from MGP.
It's one of the best.
A dime a dozen, though, to find it. But to find the double-digit age statement on this mash bill,
good luck,
is very uncommon, very rare, and comes at quite a pretty price point.
Yeah, it does.
As I can personally speak from connections I have, and maybe products coming soon, and that price point, really want the product at that price point, I don't know if I'm pull the trigger on it. So this one
I think is going to change your mind. I do.
Yeah.
Because it changed mine. So I thought the same thing. When I tasted this, I immediately was like, this is definitely top 5 rye I've ever had, and it's not number 5. I don't know where it ranks, but it's not number 5.
It's 1 through 4.
That's probably 1 through 3, really.
1 through 3. Oh, so you can say top 3.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says quality like selling something that's not for sale.
Hey, man.
Well,
Absolutely.
which to be
Do you all
clear,
have it?
no.
No,
They're
we're
still working their way up. They're on bourbon.
Let them
No.
enjoy this real quick. Let them enjoy this.
Hey.
That's
Yeah. No, he has not had this.
That's what they want.
No, Brent has not. Cash had
We're
this.
still on number 3.
Yeah.
No, but you're going to join us on this 4.
Yeah.
Cash had 3. Brent hasn't had 3.
Oh,
That's what we're being told.
Right.
This-
But they're going to
No,
count.
I've had 3. We've had 6.
You've had 3 too?
Oh, that's
All right.
yeah.
I thought you missed it.
Good
Mike,
enough.
you have this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just gonna put it.
Yeah.
All right.
Join us on that. Mike, lead us off, man.
Mike, lead us off.
Absolutely.
On
We're
the
gonna talk about
nose.
this. We're not going to rank.
No,
Just
talk about it.
educational, fun
Yeah.
enjoyment. That's all we're doing.
Well,
The
we can, you
nose,
can.
the nose is so sweet, and I think it's from those Calvados barrels. Like it's butterscotch, it's caramel apple. The palate on it is really nice because normally when you get to like a 95.5 rye, that pepper punch, but it sneaks underneath, but still has a little bit of that spice. So like it's not overwhelming. It's got a really nice blend to it. And you said it was 11 years old, right?
10-8, right?
Yeah.
But if you include the 75-day finish, it's closer to 11 years.
The age really helps round it out.
It
Very approachable, like amazing on the palate. And it's got a nice finish. Like I'm still kind of tasting those notes,
I think
that dried fruit, that sweetness behind
you
it.
get that spearmint,
Yeah.
which is what I always like from that mash bill, is that nice spearmint.
MGP 95.5 rye. Gonna give me that spearmint
Yeah, I want it,
characteristic.
right? It's like when I was drinking a Napa Cab, right?
That's
Man, I want those
light.
black fruits. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing here? Like, if you're not going to bring me that big richness, like, what are you doing?
A little pininess, a little
Yeah.
spearmint. Maybe sometimes a lot. I get some mint from it too. Kind of all, going together. But let's hear now from the legend himself, Mr. Brent, and special guest Cash.
Special guest.
What are y'all thinking about this product?
So I have to say, not normally my go-to.
Mm-hmm. Not normally your
It's
go-to.
not normally my go-to, but man, this is smooth, especially for the octane. I'm like the sweet notes. So you guys know I like my booze a little sweeter on the sweet side than most people, but like not too sweet, just sweet enough that the peppers that are coming through, the undertones of the caramel,
I love it.
I could drink this stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
As far as floral notes, you definitely have like that element of like honey, those sweet notes. But like when it hits the tongue and you get those different peppers and the underlying like sophistication of that palate, that's what hits home, which is like, wow, you smell it and you smell all these floral notes and this honey and whatever, and then like when it gets to the tongue, you're like, oh man, there's another layer coming to it.
Yeah.
That's what's most impressive.
And that's one thing you don't usually get from that 95 mash bill. You usually get just that punchy. It's beautiful. I love that mash bill.
Yeah.
But that's the Calvados barrel. Calvados barrel bringing that nice apple sweetness, and it's actually bringing out that honeysuckle you mentioned, which you don't usually get that in that 95 mash bill. But because that barrel finish, you are getting those floral notes, which is awesome.
I think the most impressive thing is that next Wednesday, me and Bernie are going to go sit in the back somewhere and let Brent and Cash run this show. after that explanation,
I look forward.
We're going to let
that
them pour
moment.
for us. We'll pull some chairs in the back, and
over at 507.
There you go. There you go.
Indeed. For certain. Oh my gosh, that was so good. All right, so anything else out of that little box that you want to see?
No, I was thinking the same thing. I already had one of these moments at another store. And I popped the 73 Armagnac already.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, oh no, I got a little bit left, man. It's a Bernie left.
Yeah, that's all about to say.
That's a Bernie Matt left. That's a Bernie Matt left.
No, I'm not. Dude, Bernie.
So you're gonna say no to a 50-year-old Armagnac?
I am.
A 50-year-old Armagnac.
With this room I'm sitting in, I don't deserve it.
Brent and Cash.
Brent Cash.
Brent Cash.
He had it before.
Owner of the store.
Yeah, he's tasted it.
There are more valuable people in here than me, so I'm going to turn my glass down for it.
And Mike has.
I agree, Mike.
There's enough for
I got
three.
enough.
There you go.
There you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Put your glass on, Mike.
You won't take over the show.
You honor us. We're not
Give
worried.
it to him. Give it to him.
That's right.
There's a little left.
Go ahead. You got the camera on him?
You get a little taste.
There you go.
That's right.
So this
All
is
right,
a
guys.
50-year-old 73 Armagnac.
Show's on y'all. Show is on y'all. So you got to carry it.
Pressure's on.
You got to carry it.
Pressure is
Oh my goodness.
So you guys tasting as a true 50-year-old Armagnac. It was put into new French oak limousine, if you want to be really geeky, in the summer of 73, taking out those beautiful barrels in the summer of 2023, making a true 50-year-old spirit, right? It is unique in the sense that it is from Ténérez and not from Boss Armagnac. Most Armagnac come from Boss Armagnac. Ténérez, if you want to think in wine terms, think Napa Valley is Boss, right? And Howe Mountain Diamond District, that is Ténérez, right? So the reason why the ones come from Ténérez, they're higher quality grapes, but they just don't grow as consistently as would in Boss. But when you do use a product from there, it's usually really good. It's only 2 different varietals. There are up to 11 approved varietals in Armagnac. 4 are mainly used, but in this one, it is only 2. It is Baco and Foy Blanche, right? So you got high acid in Foy Blanche, which is why it's aged that well. And Baco brings that earth and herbaceousness and that more rancio notes, especially when it gets older. This is our flagship. It won Best Spirit in the World in 2023. It was up against over 3,000 different spirits, not just Armagnac, spirits as a whole. And Ultimate Spirits Challenge said this was one of the best spirits he's ever tasted in his life. And this is a guy that's been rating spirits for 20 plus years, right?
I mean, I gotta say, if I knew booze could taste like this,
I don't disagree.
Get married.
Yeah. Look at that guy.
Oh, wow.
That is some.
It's a show stuff.
It is a show.
You see why I was at a tasting and I felt like tasting it because I forgot to bring to my bottle. Like I'm going to pop this thing open now because I feel like drinking it right now.
The one that
What are you drinking?
I noticed as a lay individual, which is like, hey, you know what? Like, I have never tasted something as sophisticated as this particular spirit, but like, generally speaking, when you take a look at Armagnac and you're like, all right, I'm gonna take it to my nose. I'm gonna check out what its floor range is, whatever. There's usually this element of like, everybody's had this before, where it's like you take a spirit and you put it to your nose, there's like this burning sensation that you get. It's non-existent because it's like so just well crafted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like perfect in the sense like you can put your nose in there and you can like literally like. I mean, it's like literally smelling a flower. There's no burn. There's no.
It's just tasty goodness.
Yes,
That's it.
You just recognize it's like just beautiful goodness that's going to come out of this.
And it's so rich on your palate.
Yes.
And it just sits there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's tasty.
And so it's refined, is what
Oh yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, right?
That's a good way to put it.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Like you don't have that burn. You're just like, man, this is really refined. This is gonna go down really well, and like it's gonna have that bouquet, if you will. And, you know, we're not talking.
When I first tasted the 73, I was aware of the points. I was aware of all of these accolades. I was aware it's the crown jewel of our portfolio. So I came in like, imagine watching the most hyped movie of all time, right? You're like, this movie is amazing. And then you go in there, right? Well, I'll put that. But then you go into that movie and it ends up being like a movie that is just not that good, right? This is Godfather 2, right? Where it is hyped up when I was a kid and I watched it. I'm like, this movie is amazing. Then I tasted this one. I'm like, yeah, this is Godfather 2. Top Gun Maverick was good, but Tony Scott, man. I'm a Tony Scott fan.
I insult the spirit.
I mean, it's like if you want to stick in a Tony Scott realm, this is True Romance, right? Where it's a perfect movie, perfect spirit. Yes. Mike, what do you think, man?
The nose on it is so bright. It's citrusy. It's vanilla. It's got that like creme brulee to it, and the palate is you get that age with it. 50 years. It absolutely has that viscosity that still tastes like I'm still tasting it.
It could probably go for longer.
First sip. Yeah. Like, I've had my first sip like maybe 2 minutes ago, and I'm like still tasting it. It's rich. It's got a little bit of some oakiness from the age in the barrel, but like it's so well rounded. I get a little bit of citrus in it too.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is something I want after like a fantastic meal with dessert.
I agree.
Over a cigar on like a nice cool spring or fall night. Like this is something that you sip and you savor. Like I got maybe, you
got to drop a
fifth of an ounce left, and I don't want it to go. Like,
but for anyone who stuck along this time, if you mentioned you listened to this conversation, I'll have the 73 with me on Friday, and you can be able to taste it. Now you got to mention it. It's gonna be hidden in the bag, right? I love doing those little tricks, man. To me, it's like so this is like the core of our portfolio, right? This one is our newest limited release that's going to be gone soon. So these are going to be ones that are featured at chats, right? But I'm not going to have everything in my bag just because I just love spirits. We talked earlier where just because I work for this company, I still buy, mezcal, right? Like if I see something cool and unique, I'm doing it. Yeah, of course. So on Friday, we're going to be for purchase at the store is going to be the Hogsworth Batch 2. It is the Armagnac Bourbon Blend. This is what Bernie and Matt are drinking. I just finished my second round of BHAKTA 1928, which is the rye whiskey, Calvados Armagnac blend. And then the 10-year-old limited release, probably the last six bottles in the region, right? As well. And then I'll have some other goodies just because I am who I am. And I'm always going to bring nice goodies.
Goodies only for people who watch Whiskey Wednesday.
Agreed.
Whiskey Wednesday after hours. It's really
I like that. After hours.
These three products come through. I don't have a mic, so I'm leaning towards you.
Yeah, you're fine.
You don't smell that.
Hey, man. Hey, dude, I miss you. You've been in Montana for a while, man. We do a little cuddle.
Okay, and here we go. A little preview. This will be the first Friday night spirits tasting where I will be here for all of it.
Oh, nice.
I come back from Montana. I heard Thaddeus was going to be here.
Yeah, my guy.
It's going to be BHAKTA. Come on, I'll be here all night, whole tasting, 5 to 8. Come through. Hopefully Bernie's in a good mood, and he'll give us some special discounts or pricing for tasting only. You heard it here. Everything had a killer score on the table. Come by Friday. Try it yourself. If you saw the video, mention it to your man Thaddeus, and he might just give you a special pour also.
Nice.
But come by Friday. Hang out with us. We'll be here doing what we do every Friday, drinking, hanging out,
talking,
yapping away.
We know Thaddeus loves to talk.
Yeah, I do, man. I try to cut out a little bit, man, but it's just tough.
I love
that.
All right. Well, I think that this is it, right?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we tasted, a number of amazing whiskeys, and it was absolutely our pleasure, and you will have the same pleasure tasting some of these this Friday, as he just mentioned, March 28th This is 2025, of course, for the folks who are in the replay a year from now showing up on March 28th. Absolutely. But come by and taste these. Meet Thaddeus. Just experience the uniqueness of these fantastic spirits. We're going to see you in 7 days. But once again, have to shout out to my father who is celebrating a birthday from heaven right now on March 26th. I tell you, he would have been 79 today. So, of course,
none of us would be sitting here at this table in this building if it wasn't for him.
Come on, man.
So nothing but love and
Absolutely.
respect and admiration.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Happy birthday, Dad. Gosh, happy Whiskey Wednesday to all of you and to all of us here at Chas Liquors. We'll see you in 7 days. Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, man. I think so.
Oh, damn, that's good, man.
I know you good. I think so. But that was on fun. This one, we were trying to cut it down. That's where I was like, pouring the bottles. We saw.
Yeah, it's hard to do it in an hour.